speaking of feelings, shout out to Chicago. Shout out to Chicago. Currently, what's happening out in Chicago is the black residents in those neighborhoods are pissed. They are pissed. The white residents in those neighborhoods, because it's a lot of poor whites out here. I know y'all don't believe it. It's some poor whites out here that can't pay for their groceries at all. You thought that it was a race war. It's really a class war. I keep telling y'all that. The overwhelming majority of people that are on public assistance and that's getting these social services look just like that. White. They white. Reading super chat shortly. White people, black people, they all in the same boat, because when the money ain't right, when the money funny, you start focusing on other things that ain't even got nothing to do. I was talking to Rita last night. And she said, actually, she was talking to me. She said, your attitude ain't right. You ain't been right. I know what you need. And that's code word for she want to have something sexual done to her, right? She want me to bust it down. Listen, we grown. The kids are supposed to be at school, right? If they ain't at school and ain't watching this, then that's your problem as a parent, as a responsible adult. She says, I know what you need. But it's funny because we got this running joke, right? And the running joke is when people money ain't right, they start focusing on all the other things and everything becomes so big. People get pissed because you left the toilet seat up. Some kid's bike is in the same spot that it was every single day prior to that. And all of a sudden, when you pulled in, you got pissed because the bike was in your way and it should have been out of the way and it should have been there. You get irritated at the dumbest, smallest things, boy. All of a sudden, your kid's grades ain't high enough because your money wasn't right when you came in. When you get irritated, everything start looking weird. Everybody start getting pissed. You start holding people accountable. Man, let me tell you, I was so tired the other day. I held Rita accountable for the dumbest thing ever. I was like, listen, I just need you to think ahead of it before I even get to it. She was like, what? She was like, well, I said, I don't understand why you didn't foresee that it was going to happen before it even happened. She was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. How could I foresee what was going to happen? I said, don't worry about it. I'm going to go home and take a nap. She said, I know what you need. She said, I know what you need. I said, listen, let me go to sleep for a minute and let me think about it. And then we're going to come back to this conversation. I came back. I said, you know what? My bad. I got to handle this a little bit differently. I'm a little wound up right now. You know what I'm saying? Facts. 100% facts. I did. I came back and I apologized. I said, listen, my bad. I've been holding black women on the internet accountable so much. I started looking for a black woman like, ooh, what you done did today? And no, I was not evil. I just got off a flight. I was tired. I hadn't slept. And I had some business to take care of. But we good now. We good now. Shout out to my wife that understands me. Understands what I need before I need it. And give me what I need in order for me to sleep well. You know what I'm saying? That's the purpose of a wife. Stay peaceable. Deal with me according to what I need to be dealt with. But anyway, let's get into Chicago, ladies and gentlemen. Chicago residents is going through it right now. And they're going through it because y'all new mayor that just so happens to be a man and is worse than the outgoing mayor, Beetlejuice, is obviously and quite possibly doing this community a disservice. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen.
A hot debate tonight as Southside residents push back against plans to move in
Southside.
migrants in need of shelter.
Anthony Ponce has more on the heated discussion in Woodlawn.
Tonight's meeting was packed with many people not happy about the city's decision to go ahead and open up a shelter for asylum seekers without their input at a vacant elementary school campus here on the south side of the city. Now tonight, the city presented many of the specifics for the plan itself, but that still seemed to offer little comfort to many.
I am, to say the least, freaking appalled at this fiasco.
That Woodlawn resident among hundreds who showed up to vent similar feelings about the city's plan to open up a refugee shelter at the vacant Wadsworth Elementary School campus.
I'm especially concerned about loitering as well as solicitation that may occur on the campus grounds.
Chicago police joined leaders of the Department of Family and Support Services to provide details. Facility, the 11 p.m. curfew, the 24/7 security, the no drugs or alcohol policy, and the process for residents.
Now, let me ask y'all a question as we listen into this, right? As the city of Chicago, which is obviously in flux. I mean, the city of Chicago is in flux, and Chicago is not alone. New York went through the same thing. There's a lot of things happening. Can you imagine? Can you possibly imagine that they are allocating money and resources in order to house immigrants in a migrant shelter, provide them 20. Now, you can't even get security in your own neighborhoods. You can't even get a police officer to show up because the community is not really even participating in their own success. Think about it. You had an overwhelming majority of the people in the south side of Chicago show up to the community meetings. They don't show up to a parent-teacher conference. They don't know who they county treasurer is. They not at the regular meetings. But the one thing is for sure, and two things is for certain. Y'all voted this mayor, city council members, all of your elected officials. It's your fault. This falls on nobody's shoulders except for the people in the community. Thank you, AP313. Definitely going to be reading that super chat shortly. This falls squarely on the shoulders of the people in the community. How many times do we hear about the fact that people don't show up for the local elections, but they show out for the national elections? The national elections don't even have even a remotely as much impact as the local elections. But then when people want to get pissed, then they want to have a reaction instead of being proactive and doing the thing that's in their own best interest. Now that they running in the Victim Olympics, everybody is concerned. They want to voice their thoughts. They want to start thinking about it. They want to have a conversation because they about to put a migrant shelter. And let me tell you what's going to happen. Y'all want to know what's really going to happen? I'm going to tell you the uncomfortable truth, right? They're pouring millions of dollars into revamping an abandoned high school and continue to bring migrants over into the city. Here's the truth. Here's the skinny. One of the things that I look at on a regular basis is I do research. I do research every day. Sarah, don't be salty. Don't be salty, Sarah. It's your turn. And you know what's so funny, Sarah? I'm actually doing a Detroit story right after I do the Chicago story. So don't worry about it. We an equal accountability smoke giver. We going to get there, okay? So don't feel salty. Don't do that. You doing the same thing that a lot of these modern women is doing, Sarah, and I don't usually see that from you in the chat. Sarah is saying, well, what about your city? No, we going to focus on your city right now, Sarah. Now, here's the thing, though. One factor that goes into it is that you got people that refuse to embrace their truly conservative feelings and thoughts and the ways in which they live their life. And so what happens is they embrace the same voting patterns even though it's not in their best interest. Now, another factor that goes into it is that there's a mass exodus. A mass exodus from Chicago. Chicago is one of the cities in which is losing residents at an exponentially higher scale than other major cities and states in the country. And so what you're seeing happening is that now you see these policies continuing to erode, and where you had a covering where there's a majority of the people that were paying the majority of the taxes and they were making a lot of money in all of these hub cities, Chicago, San Francisco, so on and so forth. They were able to cover up all of the issues and still say, but we are a liberal city and we still good and we better than y'all, so on and so forth. But as people start to realize, and we have social media and technology and ways in which we can communicate and take flights here and there, what's happening is people are starting to become aware. And the people that can get out do get out. And you know where that leaves the rest of the people? Because the overwhelming majority of the people, and this is why I say it's a class war, billions of dollars have exited out of Chicago. Shout out to Luis. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat shortly. Billions of dollars have been removed from Chicago, San Francisco, Philadelphia, New York. Now, New York is different from Chicago because New York still got 8 million people over in that bitch. So it's a completely different conversation. They can still cover it up a little bit more. But there's a mass exodus from these cities, which is also lowering the payrolls, which also erodes how much in property taxes is being paid. That is the contributing factor with what you see in your community services, your schools, and so on and so forth, right? And so these sanctuary cities are largely going to be the foundation of what? These migrants and immigrants that come into y'all cities, you know what they're going to do? They're going to take over. They're going to win. They're going to win. They're going to wash y'all. So while you sitting here begging for people to do stuff for you, these people going to come in here with nothing to lose. They ain't got no car notes. They ain't got nothing. They're going to come in here. They're going to get citizenship. They're going to be granted every single opportunity, and they're going to come in there and they're going to work your face off, and they're going to take everything from you, and then you're going to be sitting here talking about how you still need reparations. And this is the truth. Ed Hill says NY is a sewer. NY is an awesome city. It's just certain parts of it may be a sewer. But NY is a phenomenal city to visit. And I might take a flight over to NYC pretty soon. They going to come over here and they going to wash you. They going to take your jobs. They going to take your opportunities. They going to take your whole communities, and they going to make them theirs. This is the truth.
To provide input, but for most here, it was too little, too late.
They didn't even tell us, the residents. They did not tell us.
Look at this white man. Look at this good white man over here with this leather jacket and a hoodie on. He fit the description of a man that can't move out of Chicago. He don't make that much money, I guarantee you.
Anything until the last minute.
We will work to make sure that we communicate clearly with our plans going forward.
A recurring theme, what about the area's existing?
Look at that. Look at those tent cities. Did you know that Chicago had tent cities up in that mug? It's bad out here in these streets.
Homeless.
This is beautiful. To go in and get a shelter for people, to help these individuals coming over here. What about the people who have been here for the last 20 years?
The work that we're doing for new arrivals is not detracting from the regular work that the department is tasked to do.
Final cleaning and final construction on the shelters expected to be done by the end of next week, with the first 250 residents expected to move in on January 23rd.
The first of 250 residents is looking to move in on. And you know what these migrants are saying? We don't care about what you think about us. Yep, we going to protest. We going to get our status. We going to get our rights. And we going to come in here and wash y'all. At the end of the day, whatever it is that y'all think that y'all going to have against me is nowhere near as bad as where they came from. It's nowhere near as bad as where they fled from. You know what the funniest part about it is? You know what makes it even more hypocritical? You know what makes it even more hypocritical? Not only did they vote in the people that's making the decisions to bring these asylums into the United States, not only did they do that, they're not going to do anything different moving forward into the future. It's not like you're going to change your behavior. It's not like they're going to make adjustments. It's going to be the same thing. All y'all doing is complaining.
The city says it's planning for the shelter to be open for 2 years, but that they are hoping it can close before then.
Cap, let me see something really quickly. That's what we need. We need us a black woman on here.
It is insulting that you would consider such action about a forgotten community.
Look at all the people in line to speak.
None of you live in.
Developing tonight, outbursts and outrage at a community meeting in
None of you live in. No, they're not living over there with y'all. Why would they live over there with y'all?
South Shore over a housing plan for migrants.
The debate comes as the city deals with the crisis of where to put migrants bussed in from the border.
Elizabeth Matthews is live now with more. Elizabeth.
Corey and Don, contentious to say the least. This forum was a chance for city leaders to get input from the public about the old South Shore High School housing migrants. The city got their input.
Oh, look, these people is protesting. They don't care. Man, let me tell you something. Because we need to move over into the next story. Let me tell you something. You know what's going to come? I hate to say this. You know what's coming? You know what's coming next? You know what's coming next? Cars. What do you mean, Anton? What are you saying? The cars is coming next. That's where a lot of y'all going to be living it. Listen, you already paying a house note for your car anyway. 1/5 of people are paying at least $1,000 a month for their car, including, and that ain't even including insurance, gas, maintenance, or nothing like that. Y'all gonna be living in y'all cars. Y'all know that van life is a movement, right? Anybody that's looking to start a YouTube channel, I would suggest you get into van life. Get into van life. Go get you a new house on wheels. That sounds wild to me. I don't care what happens. I'm not living out of my van. I'm not living out of my car. In the next 10 years, you're going to see an overwhelming majority of these people living in their cars. You're going to take a shower at the gym. You're going to live out of your car. Van life, car life, it's come. Oh, no. Don't tell me what you ain't going to do. You going to do it and you going to like it. And you know how I know you're going to like it? Because you're not a bag chaser. You're not a Patreon member. You're not doing the thing that's in your own best interest. And it's a class war. Y'all still out here fighting for rights and thinking that it's the white man. Them white people just as poor as you. They just as poor as you.